after the wild card round, the division series. The NLCS was more of a series again. Like the Braves gave you guys a series, but the wild card round and the division series, it looked like a business trip. Like it looked like, I mean, the celebrations after clinching both of those rounds, it looked like you guys had just taken 2 out of 3 from the Marlins in July. Was that like, did you guys have a conversation about that? Like, hey, like, we're like, the goal is to win the World Series. Like, we're not popping bottles, even though you guys weren't allowed to. We're not popping metaphorical bottles after these series wins. Like, we're here to win a World Series, and anything short of that is a failure. Like, what was that like after those 2 rounds? And then when you get to the World Series, is that just like, hey, you know, like, we actually have a challenge here? Or did you still in your head think this series is ours? It's just a matter of playing it out?
You know, I think it was kind of interesting. Obviously, when you win your division and then you play a wild card series, it's a little odd. And obviously, them expanding playoffs just set it up that way. And we obviously weren't the only team that had to deal with that. But you play we play Milwaukee twice, get out of there pretty clean, and then we play San Diego, who we have a pretty good, you know, I don't want to say rivalry, but relationship with. They're in our division. We play them a lot. They've obviously started accumulating a lot of talent over there, and you know, I think part of it is for sure that we've kind of gone through it a few years now and been to the World Series, and kind of everything else is obsolete. But at the same time, like, you know, San Diego plays with a lot of emotion, and I don't think it's a conscious effort to send a message or anything like that, but we just handled it and moved on. And I think all of our guys were kind of on board with how we handled it and felt good about it. So when you finally do get to the end of the whole thing, then I think you can kind of embrace it and let it go. And we did that a little bit.
I'm glad you brought up the San Diego Padres, because I want to start before the regular season and the outlook on the season that you guys did eventually have ahead of you. So we're past spring training 2.0, and we know what you guys have ahead of you, 60 plus, yada, yada, yada. The division has all but been handed to you dudes, because you've done everything you've needed to do to earn that right. When you find yourself squaring off against San Diego earlier in the year, and you, I mean, it's not like you got touched up, 3 solos, I think, Grisham, talk about that man Tatis Jr. in a minute too. But was there ever a moment where you guys realized, or guys thought to yourself, you know what, sure, we're the big dog here, but let's take 10 minutes and take stock of what the Padres are doing right now? Was there a moment where you could really start to sense the club not wanting to just be the doormat? They're not just holding the fucking door open for you.
Yeah, you know, I think what's interesting about it is I think probably the reason that we've been so successful in the past 6, 8, 10 years, well before I even got here, our culture is pretty dang good in there, and led by Kirsch and guys like that have been there and have been in LA since before we were kind of rolling through everyone. And I don't think we take any team for granted or any game for granted. I think we've won so many games in the past few years, especially, you know, from what I can remember being here. Like, we just win a lot of games, and I don't think you do that kind of thinking that anything's going to be handed to you. And then, you know, you walk in and play San Diego, and it's like, oh, they traded for these guys. We don't know much about them. We don't know much about Grisham. Grisham obviously is a pretty good player. We'd heard about Tatis and what he did last year obviously opened your eyes a little bit, but he didn't play the whole year, and then you see him kind of have the year that he had this year. So I think it was kind of piece by piece. You just see what they're doing and building over there, and then they go and make the Clevenger deal, and Lamet is kind of a different animal this year than he has been. So, you know, they obviously have a lot of talent, and it was a tough series, but at the end of the day, we were trying to win more games than we lost, and we were able to do that.